Okay, question 16 is all about algebra. First one, part A, is changing the subject, and part B is solving simultaneous equations. Okay, let's have a look at this one. We want to try and make t the subject. Now the easiest way here is first of all to multiply the brackets out. So I get 2 times a is 2a, and 2 times t is plus 2t equals 5t plus 7. Okay, we've got a t on both sides now, so the easiest way to solve this to get t on its own, or make t the subject, is to subtract the smallest t. You can do it the other way, but you end up with negative values, so this is easier to do that way. So I'm going to subtract 2t from both sides, so we get 2a equals 5t, take away 2t is 3t, plus 7. Now we need to take the 7 to the other side of the equal sign, so subtract 7. So we get 2a, take away 7, equals 3t. Now we need to get rid of the 3. It's 3 times t, so to move that, we'll divide by 3, because it's the inverse of multiply. So we get 2a minus 7 over 3 equals t. And that is the answer, but it's got the answer space here, so I'll write it with t at the start. T equals 2a minus 7 over 3. And that's part A done. Right, for part B we've got some simultaneous equations here. 3x minus 4y equals 8, 9x plus 5y equals minus 1.5. And solving them means we need to find out what x and y are. If we had a graph, it would, you get a graph like this, and where the cross means the x and y values are the same for the two graphs. So we have one graph here, one graph there, and they're going to cross at the same point, and we need to find that point where they cross. What we can do is we can make the x values the same, which is it's a little bit easier in this case, because we've got, if I multiply 3x by 3 I get 9x. This is to use the elimination method, which I'm going to do. But what I feel is that as a general rule it's easier to make the y values the same, because there seems to be less mistakes made. So that's the way I'm going to go. Now if we look at 4 and 5, the lowest common multiple of 4 and 5 is 20. So if I make this equation 1, make this equation 2, we need to multiply this by 5 to make 20, and multiply this one by 4. So down here, multiply everything by 5, each part, the x part, the y part and the number part. So that becomes 15x minus 20y equals 40. I'll make that equation 3. Same with this, multiply by 4, we've got 9, 4 9s, 36x plus 20y, which we want the same, equals negative, and then double it and double it again, so negative 3, negative 6. And that's equation 4. Right, one of the methods I use is this, DAS. Signs different, add, same subtract. It just takes away a little bit of understanding whether you add the equations or subtract them. So if you look at the parts that are the same, minus 20y plus 20y, the signs are different, so we add. So let's do equation 3 plus 4. Add each part. 36x add 15x, we've got 51x. Minus 20y add 20y is 0, which it's always going to be, because that's the idea of doing this. You're trying to eliminate one of the terms, that's why it's called the elimination method. Then we've got 40 add minus 6 is just the same as 40 take away 6, so it equals 40 take away 6 is 34. Okay, now let's divide that. Divide by 51, so you get x equals 34 over 51. Now that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is, you can simplify that by hand, or what we'll do is we'll have a look and see if anything goes into there. So what I'm going to do is just use the calculator and use the fraction button on the calculator. So type 34 down 51, press equals. Now you can see that simplifies to 2/3, which is much neater. So x equals 2/3. You might have noticed that 17 goes into 34 twice and 17 goes into 51 3 times, but that's quite a tricky one. So if you didn't, you can just put that on the calculator and it does it for you. Okay, so we've got x equals 2/3. Now what we'll do is substitute this into either 1, 2, 3 or 4. I'm going to substitute it into this one here. First one, number 1, because it looks like neater numbers. Okay? So we got x is 2/3, so when we substitute it in, whenever we see an x, we'll replace it with 2/3. So we've got 3 times, I'm just going to use brackets rather than multiply, 3 times 2/3 minus 4y equals 8. You can just do this on the calculator here, but I can see that they cancel, because 3 means 3 over 1, that's why you're keeping the line with the 2, and I'll cancel these. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 3 once, so we're left with 2. I'll write that out again. 2 equals 2 minus 4y equals 8. Now what we'll do is we'll solve this for y. Let's see. Because it's negative, I'm going to take the y to the other side and add 4y to both sides. So we get 2 equals 8 plus 4y. Now what I'll do is subtract the 8, minus 8 from both sides, so we'll get minus 6 equals 4y. Now what I'll do is divide by 4. Divide by 4. So you've got minus 6 over 4 equals y, which is the answer, but you can simplify that a little bit and half them, so you get minus 3 over 2 equals y, or minus 1.5, but that's fine. So I'll finish off by putting them in the answer space. We've got x equals 2/3 and y equals negative 3 over 2, or negative 1.5. And that's it.